Yeah, pause YouTube. SixftHax here. Have for y'all today the team builder for week number 6 of WBE season number 3, where your Durham Druddigons are taking on its Gator, coach of the Florida Gators. So if you guys may have missed my week 5 match, which did not go up last Saturday, it was actually uploaded a few days ago on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely check that match out. It was a really good one against Old Man Tup. And I will spoil it right now, we are currently 5-0, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we're currently 5-0, and to be honest, guys, I kind of feel like we may catch our first loss here. I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like we may just catch our first loss here. So if you guys do enjoy the team builder, the graphics are back, by the way. They weren't here for the week 5 team builder because, again, it was very last second and the match was already late, but they will be here for the remainder of the season. If you guys do like them, hit that thumbs up button down below. Comment down below what is your favorite legendary Pokemon, because we have quite a few legendaries here. Now, I kind of count the Pixies as legendaries. I know some people technically don't, but I do. We have Zeraora, we have Keldeo, Celebi, Heatran, Manaphy, and I don't know, is Silvally technically a legendary? I feel like it's like a pseudo legendary. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, I really don't even know if Silvally's like quote unquote a legendary. I don't know, but we are facing Gator. Gator, of course, a very, very well respected battler, recently got into draft league format and has been doing pretty well the past I think like 2 years or so. Since he really got into it. But looking at this matchup, Gator's team is very interesting. It's kind of all over the place, and to be honest, I don't necessarily know exactly what 6 mons he is going to bring. Yeah, I have a feeling, like we kind of had a feeling of what Pokemon he may roughly bring. For example, Zeraora just kind of dicks me down. Like there's literally nothing. Like there's nothing I can do to stop Zeraora from potentially just kind of coming in and getting a kill, basically. So I need to be very careful with that. Keldeo, it's kind of annoying, honestly, to switch into it, but it just really depends on what kind of set he could be bringing. I think we were discussing potentially a Choice Scarf set that helps with Z, Rain Dance, Manaphy, and Dragon Dance, Dragonite, as well as also helps against the Lopunny. So you have to be careful with that. Mega Heracross is kind of in the same boat with Zeraora and Keldeo, where it's just effective whatever set it brings. Like realistically, I just need to find some way to play around it. The last 3 mons can be a little bit kind of up in the air. Donphan or Garbodor, I definitely think have to come. One of those two makes so much sense, in my opinion, to be brought to be able to deal with Lopunny, because defensively, they are his best answers for it. Heatran and Celebi, those could also potentially come. Celebi could be tailor-made to deal with Reuniclus. As you can see, he does not have a dark type on his set. I've proven before that I will fully take advantage of my opponent not having a single dark type with my Reuniclus. So I definitely think either both Celebi and Heatran, or Celebi or Heatran, are going to be tailor-made to deal with Reuniclus, so I need to be very careful with those. Archeops, Pyukumuku, and Buffalon are probably the 3 that I least expect, but we still have ways of being able to deal with them just in case he were to bring them. So the matchup is a little bit rough, but hopefully our prep here will be able to get us a W, and we don't get frozen this time like we did against Gator when we played him and APA Season 5. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first team member here. We have this pretty awesome Mega Lopunny set made by my boy Zazo. The idea behind this set is to basically just try and trap something behind Encore. If Lopunny is able to sub behind a substitute at +1, return is smacking absolutely everything. I think at +2, I even Oko max defense, max HP Garbodor after rocks, which is amazing because then that's going to lower the amount of potential Rocky Helmet damage that I will be taking. Honestly, it would be kind of nice to have double priority, but I feel like he's probably going to be expecting that. So a power-up punch into return is going to be pretty nice to be able to just do as much damage as we can with whatever it is in front of us. Encore is really good to kind of stop potential setup. Also, if he does want to try and hazard stack us, then we can Encore him into something like Stealth Rocks, Spikes potentially. We can Encore set up Celebi maybe, Heatran potentially if he has like Taunt or something, and some other types of setup as well. Actually, fun fact, a power-up punch into a +1 power-up punch actually always 2 KOs Heatran after rocks if he is not Choppleberry, which I don't think he would be Choppleberry. Like, Heatran, like, it kind of has a hard matchup, but at the same time, offensively, it is really, really good. And then Celebi gets absolutely smacked by +1 return as well, which is amazing. But yeah, Encore is really handy for whatever defensively we need to deal with. So if we do end up behind a sub, if it's an offensive mon in front of us, hopefully we can just blow it back with the return and then go from there. But rocks are going to be very, very handy in this match. If he doesn't bring Donphan or Archeops, then he won't be able to get rid of my hazards, and I will be perfectly okay with that. I believe our speed is enough to guarantee outspeed a timid max speed Keldeo. Either that or Jolly max speed Archeops. I'll have to double check that. But it's definitely one of those two because the only thing that he has that naturally outspeeds us is Zeraora. So yeah, moving on to our next team member here, we have Silvally-Ghost returning. Hopefully this time though I won't lose it turn 2 in the battle. So the thought behind this was that realistically Mega Heracross doesn't necessarily need knockoff in this game. Like Pin Missile already hits everything that knockoff would otherwise hit. So with that being said, he could be like SD, close combat, Pin Missile, Rock Blast. He could also be sub, Rock Blast, Pin Missile, close combat. Basically Pin Missile, Rock Blast, and close combat hit absolutely everything. Knockoff, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily seem that needed probably, so that's where this set can hopefully catch him off guard. We are running enough speed to outspeed an adamant max speed Mega Heracross, but I guess realistically he doesn't necessarily need any speed on Heracross in this game, so he could definitely just invest it all into his bulk, and there's really no merit whatsoever for him to run Jolly Mega Heracross unless for some reason he just wants to do less damage to me. So yeah, I'm hoping that he won't expect us to be Silvally-Ghost, and then that way we can kind of catch him off guard. We do get access to Air Slash, as you can see, which absolutely destroys Mega Heracross. I don't think he would leave it in on Silvally here because he would definitely be fearing that, or just a fire move in general. But if we are able to predict the switch out or just force him out in general, we get damage or whatever comes in. We can then Parting Shot, potentially Defog, and just kind of go from there. And then Shadow Ball basically hits everything because he does not have a normal type outside of Bouffalant, which there's a good chance the Bouffalant will not be coming to this game. So yeah, hoping that the Silvally set can kind of keep the Mega Heracross at bay, and if worse comes to worse, I can try and defog. And of course, Parting Shot is going to be amazing for substitute Lopunny and the rest of our team here. So moving on to team member number 3, we have Reuniclus, aka Bailey, making her return. Of course, this time actually not running a Z Crystal. Shocking, I know, because I think I've brought Z Reuniclus quite a few times. So this time around we are going to kind of switch it up. Main reason being is that this gives us a kind of pseudo answer to Keldeo. I really don't think Keldeo would be brought in a choiced variant, mainly because we have Manaphy and we have Cradily. Manaphy obviously doesn't care about the water moves. Cradily is nullified to water moves, and then if he's locked in the Sacred Sword, I get a free switch into Reuniclus, and then that allows me free setup, and I'm pretty positive he does not want to give my Reuniclus any chance to just freely set up. So we are running a lot of Spadef on the set. Something that actually just occurred to me that could be a little bit scary is like SD Keldeo. I don't know if he's brought SD Keldeo before, but now that I think about it, that's actually really, really terrifying. I need to be very careful, essentially. Yeah, basically like Heracross, Keldeo, and Zeraora. Again, like those three can bring whatever set they want, and I just need to hope I can figure out what it is before they do too much damage to me. So yeah, in Trick Room, this is able to act as a really good answer to Heracross and Keldeo, even Zeraora, because we outspeed them all naturally. All of them get absolutely mollywopped by Psychic with leftovers. We're able to just guarantee just about always living any one hits besides a Pin Missile from Mega Heracross, and then HP Ground is pretty much only there for the Heatran, which is always 2 KO'd unless he is running a Shucka Berry, which I don't think he would be running Shucka Berry Heatran. Z-move Heatran makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Like Magma Storm, Taunt, Leftovers could be something to try and deal with Reuniclus accordingly. Celebi, I'm very scared, could be like Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, or Signal Beam. With Z, Signal Beam, or Z Shadow Ball, it could be like SD Z U-turn, which would be insane, honestly. So have to be very careful with those sets, because I firmly believe one of those sets or both of them are going to be tailor-made to ensure that I can't just bring in Reuniclus, Calm Mind up, Trick Room, and win. I think originally we did have Calm Mind over Hidden Power Ground, but Heatran was actually super annoying, and we have enough measurements and enough pressure to deal with the Celebi that we don't necessarily need to run a move to try and handle Celebi with this Reuniclus set. So yeah, I figured that if anything, Psychic plus Hidden Power Ground is the best coverage that we need. And then in Trick Room, I can also have my Silvally and two of our other potential mons try and deal with Celebi, which can also just come in very handy. So the EV spread, again, is just so we can take Hydro Pumps from Keldeo. We take Sacred Swords as it is. Is it Sacred Sword or Secret Sword? I don't know. Whichever one that's special that hits on the physical side. 44 special attack Vs are just there so we can get a little bit of a jump point with the psychic damage. And yeah, so Reuniclus does have a bit of pressure on it in this match, but once Celebi is gone, once Heatran is weakened in Trick Room, this set should just be able to kind of go in against him. Like, we don't necessarily even need to run that much offensive power in order for this set to really be effective, because of how hard-hitting Reuniclus really is, and because his team doesn't really have that much Spadef outside of Heatran, because, you know, Garbodor, Donphan already have low Spadefs. I guess Pyukumuku could be a little bit annoying, but I'm not sure if he will bring Pyukumuku. Plus, Lopunny takes advantage of Pyukumuku as it is. So our next team member here is going to be one of our other win conditions, and that is going to be Z Rain Dance Manaphy. Now, I know I did mention earlier that he could have Choice Scarf Keldeo for Manaphy, but if he is Choice Scarfed, as long as this is healthy enough, the Secret Sword is not going to be doing, I believe, over like 45-50%. It does nowhere near like 60%, if I remember the calc correctly. So at +1 in the rain, this is still going to be able to absolutely destroy Keldeo with an Energy Ball after little bits of chip damage. Signal Beam, of course, blows back Celebi, so if we get rid of Celebi, that opens up the window for Reuniclus. And then if we are able to just get rid of Heracross, and that makes Reuniclus so much better, and then Signal Beam, then that opens up the window for Reuniclus to come in and be a giant nuisance for him, and then Reuniclus can try and get rid of Keldeo potentially to make Manaphy's life a little bit easier. Also gets off damage on the Heracross and the Celebi, which can be put in range of Surf in the Rain and Signal Beam respectively. Energy Ball, of course, is for the Keldeo and the Pyukumuku. And I guess worst case scenario, I can always just use Waterium Z to guarantee an absolute nuke on something. So I don't want to use my Waterium Z like that. I definitely want to try and gain the speed boost from the Rain Dance, but if worst comes to worst, then we have some type of nuke in Z Surf, basically. So yeah, this set doesn't really need to run a Timid Nature, and we also don't really need Tail Glow just because of how hard-hitting Manaphy already is. Again, on the special side, his team is very weak, so that's why Reuniclus and Manaphy don't necessarily need to be boosting their special attack in this match. That's where being able to control the speed tiers is going to be very handy. You have Trick Room for all his fast stuff, and then I have Z Rain Dance for his fast stuff as well to be able to outspeed them. Hopefully we have enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Max Speed Zeraora, or although there's no reason for him to be Jolly Max Speed Zeraora, this is still the safest way to go though. Plus, I don't even think we need to drop the speed that much, essentially, because if he had like Scarf Heatran, I think if we were to drop our speed lower, then Scarf Heatran could outspeed us, and obviously we do want to try and avoid that scenario. So yeah, hopefully between Manaphy and Reuniclus here, we can try and put a lot of pressure on him and be able to win with one of those two. So moving on to potentially our best, and I use best very loosely, best answer to Zeraora, and that is going to be Steelix. For the first time, and probably, honestly, the only time I'll ever be running a physically defensive Steelix set here, is because bulk up Zeraora, in my opinion, makes a really good amount of sense to be brought to this game. It helps him check Steelix, it helps him deal with double priority Mega Lopunny, it helps him deal with physical Scarf Durant, and it helps him deal with Dragonite to be able to tank potential Banded E-speeds. So while something like Earth Power I guess could be a little bit better, and actually now that I think about it, maybe I could go Earth Power over Earthquake. I'll have to double check the calcs. We're playing in like 30 minutes, so I'm gonna double check the calcs. So if it says Earth Power on the graphics, then I went Earth Power. If it says Earthquake, I stuck with Earthquake. But yeah, Heavy Slam over something like Gyro Ball, just because Heavy Slam does more damage to everything. Although if I do go with the well, no, because if I go Earth Power Flash Cannon, I would have to go Sheer Force, and having Sturdy is just so handy. I don't know, maybe I'll just keep Earthquake, because I mean, if I weaken Zero Aura anyways, then we're gonna be able to deal with it accordingly. Last move was really up in the air. I honestly don't even know if I want Explosion. A part of me kind of wants to go Roar, just because if he has bulk up Zero Aura and he starts bulking up, then that thing becomes a massive problem. The only issue with that, though, is that then I won't be able to get off a huge nuke on Celebi if we are in Trick Room. Again, I'll probably double check damage outputs, and then whatever set you guys see on the graphics will ultimately be the set that I did bring to this game. But Steelix is really only here to try and deter the Zero Aura and hopefully get up Rock so we can get off that chip damage for our Reuniclus and Manaphy, and it also helps us with Lopunny being able to just apply a lot of offensive pressure as well. So the EV spread is just there so we can take close combat into a Z close combat, I believe, and then 84 attack EVs was just so we can do as much damage as we can potentially with Earthquake and Heavy Slam. Also, Explosion can still nuke something as well. So moving on to our final team member, we have Alolan Muk, another potential answer to Celebi, as well as a pseudo switch into Keldeo, mainly for the fact that, again, Keldeo is really scary offensively. So with Figgy Berry, unless he's choice specs, which I don't expect choice Keldeo, if he does bring specs Keldeo, that'd be an amazing bring on Izen, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this set is really nice to be able to pivot in and out, and can also try and trap Celebi for our Reuniclus and our Manaphy as well, because once Celebi is gone, then both Reuniclus and Manaphy just put in so much work potentially. So that's kind of going to be the game plan. I definitely believe he's forced to bring Celebi. I definitely expect it to come 100%, and once it's gone, it makes things so much easier for us, which is going to be really good. Pursuit is to trap it, Gunk Shot over Poison Jab, just because I want to be able to do a good amount of damage with this Muk. I want to be able to hit things as hard as possible, and while Poison Jab is a little bit more reliable, I really feel like Gunk Shot ultimately might be better for us, just because it smacks Zero Aura, it smacks the Keldeo and the Mega Heracross. It also does ridiculous damage to the Celebi if we don't trap it. Then Knockoff is there to basically hit absolutely everything else. We can get rid of Rocky Helmets on the things like Donphan and Garbodor. We can get rid of choice items potentially. We can scout out to see if something is going to be Z moved or not. And yeah, that's really it. Like, this set is just really here to pivot around and just kind of be a nuisance to him. Plus, if we can get poisons with Gunk Shot, that would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, guys, that is going to be our squad for week number 6 here. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what is your favorite legendary Pokemon, and of course make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below, and I will 100% see you all tomorrow on Saturday with the match against Gator. So with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow. So later, everybody.